Welcome back to the Hurry Up Offense for 2021. I'm back. This is a new season and we're going to do it. Now, I used to say 5 minutes of fantasy football news and advice, but I'm not going to limit myself to any certain time period, especially considering I went over it so many times last year. I'm just going to say in under 10 minutes. But I am Smokey Rameriz, your fantasy football pro. Let's go. Today's topic of the show is, since it's week 1, we do not need to get cute. So I don't have a fancy name for this one. Just don't get cute in week 1, and I will explain. But first, let's get into the news. And here we go. Gonna be a lot of tight end news right up front here, so prepare for that. And we start with Adam Trautman, the Saints tight end, the second-year tight end who every analyst, it seemed like all offseason, was just head over heels in love with Adam Trautman. That's their next breakout candidate, I suppose. Well, it looked like he wasn't going to be ready for the start of the season, but as we see now, the Saints have not put Adam Trautman on the injury report for week 1, so he should be out there and ready. But if you want some advice from me, I'm not betting the farm on Adam Trautman. I'm not betting the farm on any tight end in Sean Payton's offenses. Yes, I've seen Jared Cook and Kobe Fleener, and who can forget Jimmy Graham? Yes, it has happened. It hasn't happened recently, and he has not produced dominant tight ends since the early days of Jimmy Graham. So I'm not really excited for a second-year tight end in a Sean Payton offense, but we'll see. Maybe he can do something. Here's another one. Hunter Henry is not listed on the week 1 injury report for the Patriots. Also, now this is a guy that has been a tight end 1 in the past, and he has that potential, and he is in an offense that has produced tight end 1s. Does anyone remember Gronk? Yes, he was there. The problem is we have 2 potential tight end 1s on this team. And yes, that has also happened with the Patriots. If anyone cares to remember Aaron Hernandez, which most people have tried to forget. But the fact that these 2 guys are going to be there battling for targets, it kind of gives me a little bit of pause. It can happen, but we have Mac Jones, who is a first-year quarterback, and that usually doesn't produce. Now, rookie quarterbacks do tend to lean on their slot receivers and tight ends. So this could work out. I'm not saying it can't. It just really, in his first season, being that there is 2 capable number 1 tight ends, I think they're going to split the load almost 50-50. And unless he is throwing a lot of passes, I don't expect them both to finish the season tight end 1. But if you were in need, if you're in a deep league, maybe a tight end premium, you got a couple of them. Even so, I would wait maybe and see what happens in week 1. See if it's worth it to throw Hunter Henry out there. Unless you have no other option, put him in. But I do believe by end of season, Jonnu is going to accrue more points overall and be ahead of Hunter Henry. Guys, it looks like Noah Fant is expected to be ready to play against the Giants this weekend. Now, for this entire season, Noah Fant is really interesting to me. He is at the prime breakout age. He has the athletic profile. He is in a spot where Teddy Bridgewater is known to lean on short passes, being the slot receiver or the tight end. So this could be a great spot for Noah Fant. The only problem is they are deep at wide receiver. There is a lot of receiving options on this Broncos team. Not only do we have 3, maybe 4 great receiving options out at wide receiver, slot, and out wide, but there's also 2 running backs there that are well capable of catching passes. That is my only fear for Noah Fant, is that there's so many mouths to feed, and Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock, Drew Lock is probably going to pass more than Teddy Bridgewater is if he gets the starts, but it's still not as efficient, and that does scare me a little bit off of Noah Fant. But if we see that this offense is in any way, shape, or form going to be ran through the tight end and the slot position, I think Noah Fant is in for a big season. I also think Jerry Jeudy is going to be in for a big season. I think maybe by the end of the season, we end up seeing Jerry Jeudy number 1 and Noah Fant as number 2 on the pass catching options for this team. And then we have KJ Hamler and Cortland Sutton battling out for the 3rd spot. Don't worry guys, Albert O is not a thing. Trust me. And for his former teammate over with the Lions, TJ Hockenson should be ready to go for week 1. There was a tiny bit of worry earlier in the week, but looks like TJ Hockenson is ready to go. And I also expect him, even much more so than Fant, to have a great season this year. Probably one of my biggest breakout candidates. And now to quickly run through some wide receiver news. Kenny Golladay is unknown at this moment whether he's going to suit up and play for the Giants. I would not count on it. If you have Kenny Golladay, I do expect him to be a breakout this season, but it is very possible that he is not going to play much, if at all, in this game 1 against the Broncos. So be ready to replace him if you have him. Chris Godwin is ready for week 1. I'm all in on Godwin this year. Curtis Samuel's outlook is not looking promising right now because of his groin injury. He may be in the same boat as Kenny Golladay for the moment. So I'm hoping you do not have to play him in your starting lineup, but if you are in a deeper league where he is one of your starters and not just riding the bench, be careful of playing him if he does play week 1. AJ Brown is sidelined but should be ready to go week 1. I think he's just having a rest day right now. Brandon Aiyuk is ready to play the first game for the Niners. Good on him. Who knows which receiving option will get the most work, but Aiyuk is your man if he is. Tre'Quan Smith is ready to go for week 1. Now, who knows who's going to get the majority of the work there? It's still up in the air. Could be Marquez Callaway. Could be Tre'Quan Smith. Right now, I'm leaning toward Marquez Callaway. Until Big Mike gets back, that is. Not a lot in the way of running back news right at this moment, but I will say in a bit of quarterback news, Carson Wentz is set to play for week 1. We are not going to get to see Jacob Eason, which I was kind of hoping. I would like to see what Jacob Eason can do starting for a pro team, but we're not going to see that. It looks like Carson Wentz is ready to go for week 1, and he will set out on his journey to return to prominence in the NFL. And that is it for the news today, my friends. Let's get on to the game theory portion of the show. Like I said earlier, I don't have a fancy name for the topic of today's show, and it is simple and it's going to be quick. Don't get cute in week 1. We are headed into week 1. We really don't know what's going to happen. We have an idea that comes from what happened last season, what we know about these players, and a tiny smidge of what happened during preseason. But mostly just from what we know about previous performances. In other words, the trends and cycles. Got to follow those trends and cycles. But it is week 1. Don't get cute. Don't play your breakouts. Don't play your hopefuls. If you got guys on the bench you like, I know this guy's going to break out. Yes, it may very well happen. You may be right. It may happen this season. But in week 1, do not take that chance. Play your proven production guys. Play your proven commodity guys. Play your superstars. Those guys tend to excel in week 1 at a higher rate than breakout candidates or rookie hopefuls. Play your proven guys. Play your superstars. Play your elites. Don't worry about the other guys. Let's see what they do in week 1 before you start throwing them in your lineup. Guys, that's it for this week. Please subscribe to the Beyond Football channel. I am Smokey Rameriz, your fantasy football pro. I'll see you next week. Deuces.